Welcome to Beyond the Exposition, the podcast for the website of the very same name, with myself, Donnacha, and Nico.
If you allow me, I would like to remind you all out there that at the moment in Dublin is 16 degrees, while in Rome is 27, in Buenos Aires 19, and in Wellington just 12.
Okay, good. What Nico's trying to say is we are a transnational, transcultural, trans-topical, film-based news and reviews website.
Yeah, we try to just chatting away about our movies that we like.
Movies such as that are in the cinema right now, both mainstream and art house, as Nick would like to say. I'll just say films with limited release. We also like to talk about things in the industry like
players,
sub-players, companies, events.
Industry, we can say.
And even films from the past which aren't even relevant to anything in a section we call Films We Like, Now You Must Like Too.
This week we will be covering films such as Man on Wire, Dark Knight and The Conversation, and we talk about the letter from Tilda Swinton,
the witch,
to her son.
I meant witch in a nice way.
Yeah.
I could have said something else. Something that rhymes with witch.
And before to jump on our first feature, I would love to remind people out there, in order to enrich our site, feel free to leave any question, comment, queries, or complaints.
First up, we got a current film. It's in the box office right now. It's The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's take. Nick.
Hey.
They know you're already here. You were in the introduction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, first of all.
Yeah.
This is a film which you thought was wonderful, like the rest of the world, no?
To be honest, no, because I don't think it is justified, all this big hype.
But you're not allowed to be honest. You have to join in with the rest of us and say it's fantastic.
Okay, so it's brilliant. And now I will disappoint you saying that, yeah, it's definitely a good movie to be a blockbuster, but in my opinion is pretty in the average.
So you're saying it's nothing more than a blockbuster? It doesn't go one step further at all?
No, I think it is well in to be a bit more of a blockbuster, but it's not a masterpiece described from everybody I so far speak with.
What do you find wrong with it?
I think it is pretty... first of all, okay, there was all this big hype about the figure of the Joker. It is a great acting given by him, but for me the real Joker is...
He's a dead man, you have to be nice to him.
I know, I won't be nice, but the real Joker is Jack
Nicholson.
Yeah, definitely. At least for me. Although I really, really enjoyed the way he walked. I'm talking about Heath Ledger. The way that he gave a deep insight into character.
We will go into that later about like how actually deep he goes by not going deep at all, you could say. For me, the best Joker is Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill, he played the Joker in Batman the Animated Series. He's the Joker for me. Go check him out. We'll put up links to all the different Jokers and we'll see who your favourite is too. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, just leave a comment. That's all you need to do. Okay, talking about the darkness in the movie. Was it dark enough for you? Was it too dark?
No, I have to be honest. If the darkness of the movie comes out, the voice of Chris Bale, Batman.
I am Batman.
Exactly, just this.
Yes.
But if...
I have to go down to the shop for the paper.
Perfectly, I think it's just him.
Is it too much? Does it go too far? Is it ridiculous?
I think barely touch the ridiculous side of his voice, but
he is a ridiculous thing. He is dressed up in a leather suit. Dressed as a bat.
Yeah.
He is ridiculous. He has to have this voice to put the fear into the bad guys.
Just now,
as represented in the Batman Begins by when the hallucinogenics are there and he is the evil bat demon. I'm sure there's a name for him. We'll look it up. We'll put that on the site too.
What do you think? The Batcar was a real Batcar? Remember there was a
Batmobile. Which one?
The last one.
Okay.
What do you think? Is a real Batcar or it's a car more suitable for Iron Man? Or...
I think it was Iron Man doesn't need a car. Anyway, you've seen a product placement in Iron Man. He drives Audis and Audis only. No, I thought it was a nice take on the Batmobile. It took it away from having big spikes and Actually, it looked nothing like a bat, the old one,
Yeah.
did it?
What I thought
None of them look like bats.
what I thought that maybe was better the motorbike.
Well, you believe the motorbike was actually better than the...
Batcar?
It's... Well, we don't want to give too much away to the listeners, but it is a part of the actual Batmobile itself. It's like when I saw it, I was going, oh god, there's going to be another... He'd have all these toys, and then all of a sudden, it'd never be mentioned, but like a bat plane would appear out of the sky. No, it was actually very well done. I was wondering why it was so style like the new Batmobile when it turns out to be just the waste bit of a Batmobile when it self-destructs. So the darkness, do you believe, going back to the darkness, do you believe it was too much? Too little?
I believe that darkness of what? I would ask you. I mean,
Good point. It's often mentioned about this film. It's dark.
Yeah.
Dark Knight. It's never actually mentioned what is dark in it.
What I think about the darkness of the movie is something related also with the latest Batman. The latest Batman to me sounded too much different from the first one. We were talking about this and you were saying that basically Barton made a point, How did you put it?
Are you talking about the character himself or
Yeah,
the
fact that
actual
Barton
city he designs?
No, I think that Barton created a world, basically.
Burton created the world, the city. His attempt at Batman was pretty poor. You didn't... Okay, you kind of cared about Batman, but there was nothing deep about him. The new Dark Knight film is completely different in that the city is pretty much ignored and it's all about the psychological development and the reasoning behind these characters, especially the Joker and Batman. It's shown that in this film that Batman is just as crazy as the Joker. He is indeed dressed up in a ridiculous suit, while in the Burton films that was completely ignored.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was just it's in a suit and the bad guys are in a suit and let's throw loads of them in and no one will know different. But it created a wonderful gothic kind of city, which was beautiful, like with the cops, retro like cop cars with the big searchlights on the side of them like in the first one. But Jack Nicholson's character in the first one was...
There was no three-dimensional...
Yeah, it wasn't three-dimensional. He was just, look at me, woohoo! People are probably thinking we're being too hard on Batman, but we actually really liked it. We just want to get over all the bad bits before we get to the good bits, which will come up later on.
Actually really like it. Good movie, good entertainment. You can have a good popcorn with it. But... It's
still stuff. No, it's the closest thing to the original Batman comic. It's much darker and much truer to...
They hook you up with the darkness of the movie. It is dark.
I can't help it, it's the name of it. They kind of rammed it down our throat as well, that Harvey Dent was the White Knight. The White Knight, it was mentioned so many times.
So Don, what do you think, Rachel? Do you like Rachel? I couldn't understand all the way through the movie if she was good looking.
The only woman in it, yeah?
Yeah, the only woman.
Leave that out of it, she's acting, it doesn't matter. No, she wasn't that good looking as... Well, she's no Vicky Vale or Dr. Chase Meridian or anything like that, but... Oh wait, I don't like Nicole Kidman, so scratch Dr. Chase Meridian. It's just a good name. Rachel, she's played this time by Maggie Gyllenhaal, the sister of the, I suppose, wonderful Jake Gyllenhaal. Okay, we all know that her character isn't that strong in this movie, and you don't care that much about her. But it is much, much better than Katie Holmes' version of the same character in Batman Begins, which was absolutely...
I don't think it was
really
terrible.
Hard. You didn't care one bit about it. You kind of cared about the new Rachel in this one.
Yeah, although you...
Like the bits where she had to make decisions, not giving anything away, but she does have to make decisions. So she has more of a role than Batman Begins, where she just turns up and goes, oh, you're all bad now, I don't want to be around you. And then she comes back and goes, I know who you are. That's basically all Katie Holmes does. It's not really Maggie Gyllenhaal's fault that the character is that bad. It's that Katie Holmes' version was so dreadful that the writers and producers probably gave Rachel an even more minor role in this one. Okay, you want to talk about Harvey Dent, do you?
Yeah.
And his coin. Nick has this coin reference that he's been wanting to do all day long, so go ahead, reference the coin.
Yeah, although I think that they were in production at the same time, so, I mean... We can give...
This is a theory.
As fact that...
that Nick has. It's kind of like the Bigfoot thing.
Yeah, when I was there, surrounded all these people eating their lovely popcorn and Coca-Cola, I thought...
Hey. Popcorn isn't a brand name, but Coca-Cola is. We can't mention Coca-Cola.
Okay, cola, just cola.
There we go.
I just was feeling, okay, just say it, just say it. Call it. Do you remember this famous sentence? Just call it. As Javier Bardem said in No Country for Old Men.
Oh, the coin flipping thing.
Yeah.
Ah,
Just call it.
now that you mention it, that in The Dark Knight was too much for me. If he flipped that damn coin one more time, I mean, we got it the first time. Yes, he has a coin, he makes decisions about it, and his coin happens to have the same face on both sides. So his decisions are, apart from later on in the film where that's not necessary, so where it becomes a normal coin again, just with the same face, just a little bit of scarred. Too much.
Too much.
I mean, it happened 4 or 5 times.
And then I didn't like as he flipped the coin. I would prefer still Javier. Our amigo, compañero, Javier.
He can't be in everything.
Yeah, this is true.
Anyway, the guy that played Harvey Dent, he done it a good turn. It was okay, it wasn't that bad. His character, it was actually, it was kind of deep, but just how it was treated near the end, it was...
Basically,
it wasn't justified. Now, it's Nolan's treatment of Harvey Dent that we find wrong, not the actual character itself. It's kind of suffering from 90s Batman syndrome, where there's just too many bad guys there to build up any story about him. It's just like stringed along at the end.
I think that you are right.
Of course I'm right. I've it written down here. On this.
For once, I mean, just for once, I can give. I don't know. I think that the Harvey Dent character works quite well in the first part, and then goes down, as we said, the way through the second part.
There's a bit where he disappears, then reappears all of a sudden. It's like there was a big bit missing. Alright, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the things we actually really liked and loved about this film. But first of all, one of our favourite things in it is the character of the Joker's treating, not just how the actor did it or the actor himself. We actually have a soundbite here from the film, which we will play now.
The Joker. I took Gotham's White Knight and brought him down to our level. It wasn't hard, you see. Madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
That was indeed late and great, Heath Ledger. It was. For the first time, unlike Jack Nicholson's character, it gives you an insight that it's like the opposite of Batman. He is mad, but there is no reasoning behind his madness. He's just pure mad. Like, there's nothing that drove him this way. It's just the way he is, and that's wonderfully portrayed by Ledger. It teases us by trying to give hints into his past. I like the story about like the knife that he holds up to people's face. He gives a bogus story every single time, and that is just wonderful.
Thanks, Christopher Nolan, for that.
There's no background whatsoever. Another bit we liked about The Dark Knight was the actual interaction this time between Batman and the Joker, which didn't happen in any of the other films. Batman actually spends a bizarrely little amount of time in the other films with the villains.
That maybe this was also the suspense, huh? It was going through all the old Batmans, where you were always waiting for a clash between the bad guy, the good guy.
No, because it was never about the characters before. It was about the silliness and the situation and welcome to Gotham City, isn't it all gothic and all that. It's different this time around. We actually get to learn about the characters. We get to learn to hate Batman.
Exactly,
we get to learn to hate Bruce Wayne, not actually Batman. We just to kind of ignore when he's Batman, because Batman's actually just a big ball of craziness.
I think that in this, a big role was played by the fact that Joker was a dead man walking, you know? So you kind of...
Wait, the actor?
No, obviously, my reference was the character itself became a dead man walking because the actor, if you know what I mean. And so you kind of support him more than you would have done.
Are you saying that external things are affecting your viewing of this film?
External things definitely are affecting your viewing of the film and are affecting the marketing strategy of the film.
Leave the man be.
We leave...
Oh, I know, you're saying that you do like him. Right, but do you feel like there's no way out for the character of the Joker? Do you feel like from the start the Joker can't win?
No, I think that from the start the Joker character was, in terms of script, the best character that you can have in the movie, because he's three-dimensional. Instead, despite of
he's three-dimensional, but we get no insight on him whatsoever, besides the fact that he's crazy. He is a dead man walking, is that him or Batman cannot escape this lives or what they do only through death. But the Joker says that he goes like, we cannot kill each other, because they're almost like soulmates. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, because we are two crazy people.
Do we like anything else about The Dark Knight?
Actually, do you know what? There is one thing that I truly enjoyed throughout the movie. And
Popcorn?
No, what I truly enjoyed was basically Commissioner Gordon. I think that he is really, really good character.
He's a character that really pays off in the end. He grows from being this what you believe to be a weak man, it's quite the opposite of that by the end of it, and he's just a strong individual.
Exactly, yeah.
He's ahead of the game. He knows how to play it.
Yeah. There we go. This is a great reason to go to see Dark Knight, despite of the darkness, or because of the darkness. And then let us know through comments. I was just reading through Vertigo.
Our sister site, but they don't know it yet.
Exactly. Basically, this actually, we will give all the reference and link on our website. It's a great magazine about cinema, independent cinema. And I was just trying to find information when I bump into an interview that it had stolen my attention, given by Tilda Swinton. Did you read it?
I don't read much. What was it about?
It was about, basically, this actress from Scotland.
Born in London, but that you can find in the next Coen's movie. Burn After Reading.
Or you can actually already find in Michael Clayton.
Well, basically, we're not going to talk about her back catalogue. I mean, anybody can find that out by going to IMDb or Wikipedia.
So just stick with the interview. The interview, basically, she wrote a letter to her son. Her son, I think, I can assume from the interview that she gave, the letter that she wrote, he's like 8. Basically, she was wondering how was possible that her child...
She doesn't hate her child, he's 8 years old. Carry on, Nick.
Basically, how her son, to some extent, was asking himself and her how was possible that people would have dreamt also before cinema was invented. And she was so, struck by this question because she didn't know the answer. But the point was that she started to give really arty-farty explanation for that for an 8-year-old.
Well, that's what you do to an 8-year-old. You confuse them. You just give them something complicated so they'll shut up. They'll think about it for a while, then they'll accept it and go away. And then they'll say that to their friends. That's what they believe. Only they're repeating what their parents have told them.
Yeah, but...
Which is a lie.
The thing is that she mentioned in the first line of her letter that he doesn't watch television. Do you think that...
That's a lie. No 8-year-old doesn't watch television. Actually, when we play a bit of her interview.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for Tilda Swinton.
My darling, you asked me the other day, just as you were dropping off, what people's dreams were like before the cinema was invented. You to talk blabberish and chase rabbits in your sleep, harumping like a dog, you who never watch television. I've been thinking of your question ever since. I just think of how my mind went whirring after you had fallen asleep, and I lay there wondering. And all I know is, it was a good feeling. I just know that I want my mind to be like that it hasn't worked like that for a while, that it's precisely this wee factor that I value the cinema for providing. Even a question about cinema can do it to me, yes, and like all your questions, particularly the kind that come at the very dog end of a long day, there is no answer that I feel capable of offering. What was the last thing to be made? Can you jump on the clouds when you are dead? What do worms taste like? What does a wet lamp feel like? Although we discussed and researched these last two in detail.
Yes, that was Tilda Swinton talking to her son about harumping like a dog and what do wet lambs feel like. Artsy, ain't it?
Another thing that struck me about this letter/interview.
It's full of...
It's full of?
I won't say.
Ah, okay. No, it's basically full of contradiction. We warmly invite our listenership
There's another 4-letter C word for that as well. Which is
but we just...
Not the normal 4-letter C word, a different one.
Anyway, the thing that the line actually that really struck me, another line was this. But I love the idea of Goosey stepping old Walt Disney, making over $700 million with the help of a red witch. Now...
Is she trying to explain away, not just to her son? She's not directing this at her son. She's directing this at her old art house fans. She's now working for Disney, making a pretty penny, so she has to...
Do you think that an art house fan can be happy that she make a movie for Walt Disney?
They can be happy that she's making money for herself. Maybe not that it's actually making money from and for Walt Disney. But yeah, it just seems like a really pathetic attempt at kind of explaining this away through via a poem to her son, which is really aimed at other people.
Yeah, I think that we have
You're a sellout, mommy.
I think that we have to ask
Why
her...
do you work for those horrible people who make those television shows that I do not watch, mommy.
Was she Tilda Swinton, yeah?
No, that was the son.
No, okay, it was the son.
It'd be really mental if Tilda Swinton talked about herself and called herself mummy.
I think it
That'd be my favourite thing in the world. That would give her bonus points for me.
I think it could be great if our multimillionaire production can actually reach the son and give us an interview. What do you think about the son?
I'd have to reprogram the computer to do a boy's voice.
Okay.
Nothing. Right.
So we strongly invite our fellow listenership to go and find this interview, this letter.
Just go to Vertigo. What is it? Vertigo.com or
vertigomanifesto.com, and
I will give a link in the site.
yeah, definitely.
I don't like Tilda Swinton. She scares me.
Why?
She looks like a ferret coming back for something you stole off her. She's just kind of beady-eyed, staring all tall and thin. She was somebody's muse, apparently. I don't see how she could be somebody's muse. It's not that she's ginger. We like ginger people. It's just that she looks like she's got dirt on me or something. She knows something I don't know. It's making me paranoid, even though that woman don't know me.
Maybe because she looks like a red witch.
Ginger people aren't witches. Ginger people are lovely.
Absolutely.
I can't think of any to mind that are positive. Oh God, is that a picture of her son?
Yeah.
Go to Vertigo Manifesto, trust me, it's a...
There are arty picture of her son. Arty picture.
This is a woman who lives at a hermit in Scotland.
Yeah. Basically, a son with a flower. Obviously, I remember when I was 8 years
old. The son's wearing a lot of masks.
Do you remember when we were 8 years old? You in Ireland,
yeah, we
me
watched
in Italy.
Television.
No, I didn't. I was watching independent American movies from 40.
You were campaigning for some like fascist party or something, being all Italian. On the far right.
Anyway, I know somebody...
Today he's on my left. Things have changed.
I know somebody that showed to their children independent American movie of the 40 and 50. Although independent American movie were really of the 70s.
Weren't you made go outside and cut grass or pick weeds like the rest of us normal children instead of being force-fed art? Were you actually... Wait, going back there. Were you mad at your parents for showing you so-called art house films of the 40s instead of real art house ones of the 70s?
No,
you can't blame your parents for that.
I said that I know somebody who did... No, my parents, not my parents.
Oh, okay. If you want to see any movies by the Red Witch, she will be... Hey, that rhymes with a word. She will be appearing in the next...
Pretty soon. Yeah,
Coen Brothers film, which will be out in the next maybe month or two. Burn After Reading, isn't it?
Burn After Reading,
yes. There we go.
Obviously, they are really, really...
It's hard to come up with nice things to say, but I'm sure she's a nice woman. She got like an Oscar for a bad character, like in my opinion. She was a terrible character. There's better people.
I don't know, she's a great actress, I think.
She's an actress, but hey.
When it comes to letter to her son and interview it, maybe she fell, but anyway.
Here's something. If you're writing a letter to your son, do not put it on the Vertigo Manifesto website. He's not going to read that. Tell it to him himself.
Exactly. Here we go here with a movie that is just now out in cinemas, and it's really, really a gripping movie directed by James Marsh, the independent director.
It's about an effing mime.
Who recently made This Was Done.
Sorry for interrupting there. I don't like mimes.
Who recently made The King with the Mexican actor Gael Garcia Bernal. What do we say about this really, really compelling movie, Man on Wire?
Okay, first of all, we had big problems with trying to describe what this was first. This was going to appear in our mainstream section, but I talked old Nick here out of it. It's not an art house film. We don't like that word. Well, Nick likes that word. I don't like it. It's a film with limited release.
Absolutely, yes. Basically, has been produced by BBC, UK Film Council, and Discovery Channel. Basically, when I was in the cinema watching this movie, there was someone that when appeared Discovery Channel label, just made a big laugh. I don't know why. Discovery Channel, maybe, provokes
animals fornicating.
Yeah. Anyway.
Of late, it's just been crab fishing.
There is a...
Sharks.
There is a good marketing strategy behind the distribution of this movie. Is that the movie has been advertised as a heist movie?
Heist.
Sorry for the pronunciation.
It's okay. English isn't either of ours first language.
So, as a heist movie, but actually there is no heist in the movie because how we want.
Well, they do something illegal.
Yeah,
They trespass.
they walk on wire, basically.
That's not the trespassing. The trespassing is getting into the... Because the space over where they walk is no man's land, but it's actually the building that they have to get to set up the rope that has belonged to someone. Thus, it is trespassing. It is illegal.
But now that doesn't belong to anybody anymore.
You can't... I don't know. We can't mention that.
Anyway, we just back on the movie.
This is not the movie is not a conventional documentary, even though it's documentary. It's done in the style of a heist movie, as in there's a build up, there's characters, there's
a reconstruction on studio.
Yeah, there's a reconstruction, and like most modern heist films, there's flashbacks and flash forwards and all this.
Actually, director James Marsh basically referenced the movie with the thin blue line. I don't know if Donnacha, did you see it?
No, I know nothing.
It's a great documentary that dealt with cops.
People are going to quote me on that line. I know nothing. But go on, yes.
It's a great documentary that if we have a chance, we will maybe broadcast some line from the thin blue line one of these days.
I'll have to set up the computer again.
Yeah, we will. What's about this movie, Donnacha? For me, I think it's a fairy tale about a dream, because you can't really say neither is a heist movie nor is a documentary, but is following a dream, no? This man, Philippe Petit.
It's about a lunatic
Frenchman
who puts his life in danger and put other people's freedom in danger by doing illegal acts.
Yeah, it's amazing how...
all for art.
It's amazing how he persuaded the other people, to follow him. I mean,
like a dictator. He's just his amazing presence. You can even see the real Philippe Petit appears on screen as well, talking about it kind of like the real characters doing the Joy Division film, Joy Division. He's got a lot of power, presence, like an early Tom Cruise.
Do you think?
Well, Tom Cruise had presence, yes. Well, he still does, but you kind of back off a bit. But he's
on the way to...
When he walks into a room, he lights it up, and people, for some reason, blindly follow him. And you can see this through when he somehow manages, for a man with no money, a mime, basically, a busker, he manages to jet set around the world, collecting a troupe of basically criminals who break into buildings. They call him artists or supporters.
By the way, Donnacha, we can say that it's a movie full of emotions, no?
We can or can't?
We can.
We can?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's sort of a love story in it.
Yeah, I think
you don't
no, we
actually
can't give
know
away.
it's love.
You can give away.
Okay, I won't give it away. It's just a very...
I think we can just say that there are two stories that contemporary one grows up as a story of success and achievements, and while on the background, the love story, as you call it,
it's a side plot. It means nothing.
Exactly.
Maybe it's a metaphor for art. We don't know. To me,
maybe it comes out too late in the movie. Maybe if we want to find a little flaw. But anyway,
it's barely even mentioned. It just goes, oh, by the way, we broke up. It's good. Were you together? Did it matter? It's basically about art and the expression of art, and how today, like the Twin Towers.
The death
by the way,
of art
he walks on a tightrope across between the two Twin Towers in, was it 1974?
7 August 1974.
Just as they were built. He's been plotting this from even before the buildings were built. He saw the plan somewhere in a newspaper. This was going to be taller than the Eiffel Tower. Really?
Actually, he founded also an association, Twin Towers Association.
Yeah, which it was weird. This was like based somewhere in France, and it has its own road signs and everything.
In the middle of nowhere in France.
Today, the CIA would like deal with them. They'd be shot down fairly fast, and they'd be accused of being terrorists.
We have to remind that basically the movie, actually the plan of While Walking was just planned in the middle of 1960s, 68, 69, and then basically...
What, free loving and revolution.
Exactly.
And all that
in
sort
fact,
of thing.
we can see the movie also in this way, no? It's just a way to rebel. In fact, it's great, no? Because you would ask yourself why this man did this while walking between the Twin Towers. So on Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Today we would ask why, and that's exactly what they're trying to say. He wire walked, as they call it, across many buildings throughout the world, and it's only in America for the first time when he done the Twin Towers that people asked him why did you do this, and Philippe thought it's art, it's just art, it's an expression, why do you need to question it? It is what it is. But people are asking, why did you do it? And he was going, no. But that's how we would view that today, like, why did you do that? It's kind of like this American view that's come in and taken over, almost like a red mist.
He basically devoted years of his life to this project. In this idea, there is a great emotion, no? That you decided to devote years of your life just to do one single walking across the wire between the Twin Towers. You can also understand why...
My parents wouldn't be happy. There's not real much prospect in that. Yes, he was a minor celebrity for a while afterward, but clearly ended. There was a big build-up during all the smaller walks he'd done. Well, by smaller, I mean he tight-walked across, what is it, the Sydney Harbour Bridge?
Yeah.
That's fairly big in itself.
And on the edge of the Sacré-Cœur in Paris, it's a
big church.
A church on the Ile-de-France, if my geography knowledge supports me in this moment.
It was kind of like the end of his career and the end of his goal. His goal was achieved, so he has to move on for this. And that was seen, it was basically the end for his following as well. His group,
path, yeah.
His group kind of disbanded after that, much like his fame rose and fall.
It's also a story of a friendship. That it's really
between him and the rogue. You can't say it was between him and the girl.
Between him and the friends who were around him. French, American. Actually, American was great. American people.
They were perceived as the untrustworthy one. They were stoners, basically. It was really well planned, the whole thing. They showed them back in France and flying back and forth, setting up like a scale model.
Where did they take the money for all this?
Well, where did they get the money?
Yeah.
It's not really explained that well. Like Ryanair and...
Michael really wasn't around.
Larry didn't exist back then, so there was no cheap flight, so it cost him a lot to do all this. Like, he went to Australia, he went to America several times because he tried and failed.
Yeah,
and he was in crutches for a while, but he used them to his advantage.
Yeah, but we don't give away this point that is.
He used crutches to his advantage. Yeah. It could mean any number. Here's an extract from the film from the man himself.
Philippe Petit, it's impossible, that's sure. So let's start working.
Yeah, he pronounced his name wrong there, and in an American accent it said Philippe Petit, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is better to take off Philippe.
Bad computer. No, we'll leave it.
Will you?
Yeah, we'll leave it. Alright, this is the final bit of Beyond the Exposition podcast. This bit is called Stuff We Recently Saw That You Should See Too. The film we saw is... Why are you putting on a face like that?
No, because sounds a bit like a censorship, you know.
You should watch what we tell you to watch.
Anyway, go on, sorry.
Okay, this film we saw really recently, half an hour ago. It's The Conversation, 1974. Wonderful little film done by...
Francis Ford Coppola.
He said that because I can't pronounce his surname.
Coppola, you know what I mean?
Okay,
it's my family field.
Italianness.
Exactly.
Mine's potatoes. Alright, it stars Gene Hackman.
And really, really young...
And pretty Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
It's really weird. He's got no grey hair or wrinkles or whips or hats. Okay, we tell him what the film's about.
The film is about spies and has a good ability to describe a world of spies that usually spy movies try to avoid because of the boringness that you can find.
You mean like a man hooking up wires to a machine and pressing play and then listening to what it is and then pressing reverse and then play and then reverse and play and then walking up, going to the bathroom, coming back, pressing play?
But there is a but, because otherwise our fellow could think why they are trying to advertise, so to push us to see this movie. Why?
First of all, how it even got made. You were saying it was produced by Francis Ford himself.
Yeah.
We were saying this because I don't think anybody else would have produced it or put money into it, because it's a ridiculous idea. Like, trying to pitch it, it's like a spy film with very little action and concentrating on the...
listening to the types.
Personal life. One, the personal life of the spies and their social network of other spies. It's really weird, just a bit with a conference in it and everything.
But works quite well because...
I'm supporting this. I'm the one who found this damn film for you.
I think because all the psychology described in it works quite well. Although my idea was, as soon as the movie was ended, was that the film was better with 20 minutes less.
People say that about everything. That's the big bandwagon of people who've jumped on about Dark Knight. Actually, we said it too.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a great film. It was 15 minutes too long.
Yeah, also Peter Brandshaw from Guardian was saying it's too long. It's a great movie, but it's too long. So,
we don't associate with those types, those learned types.
Basically, no, definitely it's worth to see it. Then was also the golden age for independent movies in US, because the 70s was the independent waves, the new Hollywood, the new Hollywood that was a real new Hollywood.
I like the 70s for a great reason. It's nothing to do with all that golden age. It's when a tape recording machine is represented in a film and there's a big tape and he presses a big clunky button that says play. That was my favourite thing.
They used film? I mean, instead to tape, no?
No, I'm talking about the actual tape in it. I love seeing tape reels.
Oh, okay.
But it's done very well. The modern day take in it was Enemy at the State, which also stars Gene Hackman. But that's an action-packed adventure where people die and all that sort. There's nothing like that in this film. It basically deals with the psychology of these people who are spies. I suppose their coldness and they're treating it like it is a business. And
what's their business?
One man's problem with all this and their social networking and their friendships. But also, it dealt with what happens when a spy is being spied. Like, there's some beautifully subtle bits in it. Like, for instance, the camera movement. Now, the camera movement...
The camera technique was amazing, I suppose.
It was the first to kind of operate... Like, you see it a lot recently, but not done this way. It's about surveillance cameras, and today they'd have, like, a grey screen with, like, a time number up in the corner. And you'd obviously know it was a surveillance camera.
Hey, here I can see a reference to The Wire.
We're not talking about The Wire yet.
Oh, okay.
It's too big. We'll have to devote a whole program and the corner. We must add in the corner. But it's to do surveillance. It's just a normal camera shot. However, it pans differently. It pans like a surveillance camera would move. Like he'd appear on the screen. He'd walk off the screen, but the camera wouldn't follow him for maybe around 3 more seconds as it is waiting for a controller to control the camera to follow him. And it's all about paranoia, and it's the first of its kind to do that, really.
Well done, yeah. It's really well done. And then actually, as the film has a really good music at the background, this jazz. Then there is this...
The jazz music, that comes from the opening scene. It's actually to do with... The whole film revolves around one recording, which happens at the start, and him piecing together that recording. The opening recording sets the theme, and the music from the opening recording is carried on throughout the film.
Yeah, great. It's also great mise en scène, no?
The set?
The set, yeah.
Was the set good? It was normal. It was just an apartment.
I like it, maybe because also the final bit of the film. I think it's great, but we will leave this and maybe we can take comments on this. And
with all these conspiracy films, there's always twists.
Yeah.
So this isn't a film you're going to see on television, so the best way to see it is go out and buy it. It's on DVD.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
We want to just give the label of DVD, published by?
Why? Just go out and buy The Conversation. You know what it is.
Okay, 1974, Francis Ford Coppola, produced by
Francis Ford Coppola.
That's it.
That's all from the Beyond the Exposition podcast today from myself and Nick. Join us next time for when we will talk about more of the same independent films, mainstream films, the industry, and what's it called again? Things we saw that you should see too. And to lead us out in the spirit of the new Batman films, I've only got one thing to say, really. I've got to go. I got things to do. I'll be back later. Don't wait up. Alfred?
Yes?
What the fuck was that? Nick, say goodbye.
Ciao.
Okay, that'll do. Alright, slán then. This has been a Major Headache production.